Hello, I'm Caden and I will be covering the Oka Crisis event of 1990 with my partners Declan and Joaquin. The Oka Crisis was a fight of justice between the Kanyan Kehaka, or Mohawk people as they're commonly referred to, and combined forces of the Quebec Police, RCMP, and the Canadian Army. The events took place in the community of Kanesatake near the town of Oka between July 11th and September 26, 1990. The Mohawk people were protesting because the mayor had proposed the idea of a golf course expansion and townhouses to be built on Kanesatake land, also known as the Pines, which held an important burial ground. The Mohawk people have a long history of contesting for their land and have always had trouble with the legal system. To make matters quote-unquote easier, the federal government decided to buy out the land. The Mohawk people still claimed it was their rightful land and continued to fight hard for their rights, but they were still not acknowledged by anyone. During this time of debate, a large majority of the land space was sold. The space held by the Mohawk people went from 687 square kilometers to only 6 square kilometers. With so many rejections to the Mohawks' land claims, the golf course was eventually given the okay to continue building, but the Mohawks would not see their land desecrated. People started protesting, building barricades to cut off access to the land. These actions inspired others to join in the protests. After various warnings to take down the barricade were ignored, the Quebec police, also known as the Sûreté de Québec, were called in to stop these protests. 4,000 soldiers were deployed around Kanesatake, and the pressure caused the protesters to remove their barrier. During the last few weeks of the engagements, there were multiple smaller-scale standoffs and fights that led many people on either side to be injured. The House of Commons decided enough was enough and gave in to the demands of the Mohawk people. The public of Quebec had mixed opinions on this result. Some were angry because of the nuisance caused by the barriers and protesters. They harassed the Mohawk people by throwing stones at their cars. On the other hand, other civilians sympathized with the Mohawk people and assisted on the building of barricades and protested in their honor. The response from the federal government from these events was to buy the land and cancel the projects. They also bought additional plots of land for the Mohawk people. It was great to see the Mohawk people get justice, but it was clear they were not treated as equals throughout this exchange.